Well, welcome everybody. I will go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Jonathan Harwell Dye. I am the Director of Programs at the Arts and Business Council. I'll be leading today's presentation, and with me is my colleague, Annie. Annie, will you introduce yourself?
I'm Annie Brocious. I'm the program manager for the Arts and Business Council, and been with the organization since November of 2021.
And then our colleague Stephanie is here from Urban Green Lab. They are the lead partner on this project. This is part of their Waste Less mural series, which is, I think this is the fourth mural in the series that encourages folks to reduce food waste in different ways throughout the community. So Stephanie, if you will introduce yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having us, Jonathan and Annie. Like Jonathan mentioned, my name is Stephanie Roach. I serve as the Assistant Director of Special Initiatives. The main one that concerns this project is the National Food Waste Initiative, which houses the Waste Less mural series, which we are on number 4, and we're very excited. So thank y'all for all being here today.
All right. So everyone, we are here today to talk about the mural RFQ for the Waste Less Mural Project. This is a project led by Urban Green Lab in partnership with the Arts and Business Council and the Nashville Farmers Market. And it is an RFQ, or a request for qualifications, which means we're asking artists to submit their portfolios, and then we will select from those portfolios artists to submit proposals. So you don't have to create anything new. You're not submitting a full proposal at the beginning of the process. It's very much a sort of a portfolio submission. We do have a question sort of about ideas that you might have and about your connection to the theme and the concepts behind it. But we're really looking to try to get try to make this as accessible to everyone as possible, and for people to be able to submit an existing portfolio rather than having to create new work for the request for qualifications. But today's agenda, so we did introductions already, but we will talk a little bit about the Arts and Business Council and Urban Green Lab specifically, and then we'll jump into a project overview. We'll talk a little bit about the Wasteless Mural Project overall, this specific mural, where it will be located, the installation process, the timeline around both the installation, but also around the entire RFQ and when decisions will be made, when things will be due, all the deadlines that surround that sort of thing. Compensation, and then, of course, the application process. How do you apply? And so I'll walk through all of that, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. So a little bit about the Arts and Business Council. We are an independent 501c3 nonprofit that leverages and unites the unique resources of the arts and business communities to create a thriving and sustainable creative culture in Nashville. So when we say independent, we are not an agency of the government. We are an independent organization, a freestanding 501c3. We do get funding from both, public grants, grants from like Metro Arts, grants from the Tennessee Arts Commission. They are part of the funding mix, but we're also funded through raising donations, just like any other nonprofit would. We have several programs. We do a lot of project management and partnership with organizations like Urban Green Lab. If you've submitted for some of our other RFQs and calls for art in the past, you'll know that we work closely with the Nashville Soccer Club on a regular basis. We've worked with the Tennessee Department of Health in the past. So we've had a lot of partnerships over the years, helping to work with businesses and organizations and helping them engage artists, and to hire artists to be able to do work, to be able to display art in their facilities, and really just to create more opportunities for artists to be able to both make a living, but also to engage with businesses. Like our name says, Arts and Business Council, our mission is to bring those two communities together. And so we try to utilize opportunities like this to really connect both the business community and the arts community. And when you think about arts, we have a very broad definition of artists, but also businesses. Nonprofit is a business. A farmer's market a lot of businesses collected together. And so thinking about all of these different organizations and how they work together is a big part of what we do to create this thriving creative ecosystem in Nashville. And then Urban Green Lab, I'm going to let Stephanie tell you a little bit about their organization. So Stephanie, if you would like to talk a little bit about Urban Green Lab.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Jonathan. So, Urban Green Lab is a local nonprofit based here in Nashville. It is our whole model is about sustainability education, and we do that through engaging with three very specific and different audiences. First, we engage with households, so basically folks at the individual level, with workplaces, and then also with classrooms and education settings. Um, so those are the three main audiences that our work focuses on. However, my division, which is called Special Initiatives, really gets at issue-based work that we focus on and thread through all of our education into those three audiences. So, this work in particular that we're talking about tonight, this mural, the Waste Less series, was born under the Food Waste Initiative that we herald together. We work with some national partners, the Natural Resource Defense Council and Environmental Law Institute are our big advisory partners. But on this particular work, we work with our creative programming partners and organizers, the Arts and Business Council. So yeah, we're very excited. Again, like we mentioned, this is the fourth iteration, so we've had wild success. The big hallmarks of this particular project are the fact that these are community-driven projects. So it's the community-driven project plus this call to action, which is the food is blank, waste less. So the neighborhood or community that where the location of the mural is, decides upon that particular messaging. So they're really capturing the flavor of their relationship to the food business. And in this case, we've been so grateful to land at the Nashville Farmers Market, which has long been historically a community hub, but also a food system hub as well. So we're very excited. And there's with each project, we've had a really unique constituency that we're looking at. So this one is really wonderful in that we have an extremely diverse vendor population, but also an extremely diverse restaurant and food business um, group that's working side by side. So um, when you're thinking of this mural, think about the traffic that's coming through there. And again, that this is a hot spot, not just for your average local Germantown resident or North Nashville resident, while we are certainly capturing the history and flavor of that. But this is also a lightning rod for tourism in our city. So this is one of our premier tourist spots. So people from all over will be engaging with the work that goes up at the Nashville Farmers Market.
Thanks, Stephanie. So yeah, a little bit more about the Wasteless Mural series, just kind of give you a little background on this. Urban Green Lab is commissioning this series. One of the previous murals was Food is Beautiful, Waste Less. This mural here that you can see, part of the Nashville Food Waste Initiative, really to drive both policies and strategies around reducing food waste in Nashville. Couple of other murals, Food is Energy Waste Less, and then our most recent mural by Leandra Crystal, Food is Community Waste Less. So that was we had an RFQ last year, very similar to this one. This is on the turnip truck on Charlotte Avenue on the side of their building, this mural that declares food is community waste less. And so that is those are sort of the three previous murals in the series. And then the one that we are commissioning this year is the fourth mural in the series. And the theme of that mural and the words that we are asking to be on that mural is food is our past, present, and future waste less. And so that is, again, aimed at reduce it at inspiring people, whether they are visitors or local, to reduce food waste. But it also seeks to honor the National Farmers Market, National Farmers Market's long history as that community hub, that food system hub. And so really thinking about sort of the past, the farmers market was originally founded in 1801. And that's a date that we'll talk about a little bit more in a moment. But that's a very long history. Of course, there is today and the current iteration of the National Farmers Market, and then of course the future, those possibilities of what the market will become, and that reminder of its opportunities as a public food system hub where equity flourishes. One of the things that we really love about the farmers market, and one of the reasons we think this is such a great location for it, is that so many different parts of our city and so many different people of different cultural backgrounds that are really reflected in food in so many wonderful ways, are reflected at the farmers market as well. And so that's where that theme comes from. This is something that we are working with our partners at the farmers market, and this is where they landed on the theme, is food is our past, present, and future, waste less. The location of the mural is going to be on this wall here. There's a couple of tables in front of it because this is the location where they do a lot of cooking demonstrations. And so this mural in the future will likely be a backdrop to a lot of cooking demonstrations that will happen in this area in the farmers market. This is Farm Shed 1. If you're familiar with the farmers market, Farm Shed 1 is the side that is closest to the street, furthest from Bicentennial Mall. So that is Farm Shed 1. And then this is the sort of the furthest in near, I think, Babylon Gardens or Gardens of Babylon, the landscaping and garden center that they have there as well. So that's what's kind of behind it. But this is a walk-in cooler. The exterior is metal. We are working with them to have this surface fully prepared before the mural is installed. And so you will have this entire side of the cooler to paint. And so it'd be the entire side. And it is about 160 square feet. The surface is a light gray metal. We're going to have it power washed, cleaned. There is caulking in sort of the in between. If you look here, you can kind of see that there are different sheets. There's actually caulking in between there, and we're going to have that removed and a new caulking put in, an acrylic caulking that will be more conducive to painting. So the surface will be fully prepared for the muralist to be able to paint on this when the time comes. And then the theme, of course, food is our past, present, future, waste less. We are asking that the text be prominently included in the final mural design, similar to how the other murals look. And then the farmers market has also asked that we include the date 1801, which is the year that the farmers market was founded. Originally, I think it was called maybe City Market or something similar to that. So it's had a lot of iterations over the years, and you can actually read about the history of the market on their website. There's a lot of great information to learn about that history, especially as you're approaching this project. Kind of immerse yourself in the history of the Nashville Farmers Market. But that is a big part of it. One suggestion that has been made, and one possibility, is that the theme "Food is our past, present, and future" could be presented in multiple languages in a design. So that is something that we are putting out as a something that has been mentioned by the committee that is helping us put this together, and one suggestion that has been put forward. And so we wanted to mention that as well, that we are very much interested in having it reflect that sort of multicultural nature of just being a food hub and being a farmer's market and being that sort of cultural hub for Nashville. And then the time frame, the selected artist will have from May 5th until June 13th to complete the mural. So they will be able to start on or after May 5th and will have to be complete by the 13th of June. That deadline is not flexible due to grant funding restrictions. So the grant funding that we've received requires us to be finished by June 13th. So that is about a 6-week window, maybe a little right about a 6-week window there that you have. And we know that weather and things like that happen. We've certainly had that happen to us before with other mural projects. And so that's one of the reasons that we have this window of time. But knowing that the June 13th date is a very hard deadline to have it installed. And so planning accordingly for anyone who is selected for this mural project. Kind of stepping back though, the process for applying and kind of understanding that process. So our RFQ submissions are due on Sunday, March 16th. So just under 2 weeks from today. And so we are asking folks to submit their portfolio of examples of past work, 3 to 5 example images, as well as a short narrative about your connection to the theme and ideas that you might have, direction that you might go. All of that submitted by March 16th. I think that this is a pretty, in terms of application, it's a pretty short application, but we do that on purpose to make this as accessible as possible to everyone. Once we close applications, we close the submission portal. All the submissions that we receive, all those portfolios, will be evaluated by a community review committee. That committee includes representatives from the farmers market, artists who have worked with us in the past on previous murals, community members, vendors from the market, other partners in the community, like the library, and Urban Green Lab and the Arts and Business Council. And so there is a committee of folks that are stakeholders in the project and specifically in the farmers market and the communities around the farmers market that comprise that community review committee. So they will review all of the submissions, and then from that, we will select 3 finalists. Finalists will be notified on March 31st. And we will schedule one-on-one meetings with all of the finalists to talk to them about their proposal idea, give them, answer any additional questions, make sure that they have all the information they need to be able to put together a proposal. And the proposals are due April 20th at 11:59 p.m. In a final proposal, what we are asking for is a full rendering of the potential mural. So what it would look like, a representative mock-up, if you will, of that, as well as any sort of information about any background on the mural, like context around it, any sort of special needs that might come along with it, whatever we would need to know to make an informed decision about the project. And so if you are selected as a finalist, we will work with you to make sure that you know everything that needs to be included in a full proposal, so that can be submitted by April 20th. Then that same review committee will review the three final proposals that are submitted. And from those 3, we'll select an artist who will be the artist who will do the mural installation. And so that is the process: is the RFQ, getting the portfolios, having the committee select finalists from those portfolios, inviting them to submit full proposals, reviewing those proposals, and then selecting a final artist. And then along that process, there are a couple of places that we will do compensation. So if you are selected as a finalist, you will receive a stipend of $250 upon the submission of a full proposal by the deadline. So if you're one of the 3 finalists, you will receive a payment of $250 to put together that proposal, payment for that time and energy that you put into that. And then the selected artist will receive a payment of $4,800 for the mural, paid 25% upfront and 75% upon completion of the mural. And we have a budget of up to $1,000 reimbursable for supplies for the mural. So that's in addition to the $4,800. We have an allocation for supplies, but it is only up to $1,000. So if you did go above that, you would have to cover that out of the $4,800. But we think that most of the work that we've done, we think that should cover most supplies that would be needed. One thing we are asking is that the artist will also apply a anti-graffiti coating, which is basically a coating over the painting that allows us, if someone tags it or something happens, that we can go in and clean it off, and it will protect the painting underneath. And usually an anti-graffiti coating is good for about 3 cleanings, right? So it's not going to work forever, but it does allow you some protection if it is damaged, either through, like tagging, or, just some sort of incidental thing happens. It does that. And we do provide that, though. You do not have to buy that out of the reimbursable fund. That is actually purchased separately. And then the artist maintains all rights and grants. So you own the copyright to your work. You will continue to own the copyright to your work. But as part of the call, you do grant a perpetual limited license to the Arts and Business Council, Urban Green Lab, the Farmers Market. And this is for non-commercial use. Basically, we need to be able to photograph the mural if we're taking pictures. We need to be able to talk about the fact that we did this mural project. We need to be able to share this information. And so you give us the right to be able to talk about and share the information about this mural after the fact. But it does not grant commercial, so we couldn't reproduce it and sell copies of your mural or anything like that. It is about being able to use it for non-commercial purposes. And so the application process is, you can apply through our website at abcnashville.org/opportunities, and you will find the RFQ there. That will also take you to our submittable page, which is abcnashville.submittable.com/submit. If you already have a submittable account, if you've submitted through Submittable before, then you will probably easily be able to find that page on our and submit through there. But either of those will take you to that submittable platform to be able to submit. And there you will be asked to provide your information, provide samples of your work, all of that information. And then again, the deadline to do that is Sunday, March 16th at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. All right, and that's just kind of a high-level overview of the process, the project. And so now we're just going to open it up for questions. Yes.
So my question is, since it's going to be on like the generator panel type thing, are we restricted to any type of paint or art material that we use? Like I work with a lot of acrylic and spray paint, which I've actually painted on the actual panel before, and it kind of worked really good and was durable. Are we restricted to any of that?
So it's going to be prepared. There's a silicone caulk on there now in between sort of those sheets, and that you can't really paint over. So we're having that removed and putting an acrylic caulk. So you can paint over that acrylic caulk with either like spray paint, acrylic paint, any of those would work. There will not be like an oil-based primer underneath it where you couldn't use acrylic or something like that. You should be able to use any of those sort of normal materials, including spray paint. The biggest thing, though, will be noting that that is a working walk-in cooler. And so the one thing is to ensure that when you are out there working, that people will still be able to access it through the door. And so that'll be something to think about in terms of, especially if you're using sort of spray paint materials like that, making sure that you have kind of walled that off, or, take that off in a way that it doesn't get to any other part of the cooler.
So I like to work at night and during the day sometimes. Will there be a certain time frame with this project working with the farmers market? Like, hey, it can work between this time and that time, or during the day they're open, but not on the weekends or something like that.
There's definitely going to be hours that you can't access the farmers market. I don't know exactly what those hours will be. But there will be times that it will be accessible and times that it will not. And we can get clarification on some of that. I know, for example, the farmers market is extremely busy on the weekends, right? So that might be something that is taken into consideration. It may be that area can be sort of, cordoned off, and you can work during that time, and people can watch you work, and that's okay. But we don't have exactly a schedule other than knowing that sort of window of time from May 5th through June 13th right now. But we can definitely get that information.
That's exactly why I asked for like, the involvement with the community and stuff like that at the farmers market. That it's like, oh, hey, we'll have the artist painting the mural that's, coming to the farmers market. I thought that would be a great idea. That's why I asked the question about the timing.
Yeah, great question. Thank you, Christian.
Is there power access?
Yes, there's definitely power access there.
And do you know if that the box is painted in an oil-based paint?
With the mock-up, right? Let's say I'm selected. Will we want the logos included in the design, like incorporated somehow, somewhere, or do they just want to be placed, in the mural, uh, just for like promo or anything like that?
That's a great question, Christian. We have always left off any logos. What we did include last year on the turnip truck mural was a URL code. So that would be something that you could potentially consider. We'll have to speak with the National Farmers Market to just ensure it will be something, if not a QR code that you'd want to paint on there, it should be our Urban Green Labs URL code.
Yeah, and actually, Christian, I will pull up really quickly sort of the picture from last year to kind of give you a sense of that. And this is not going to be super easy to see, but if you look down here, sort of in this bottom corner, there's just a really small URL down here. And then over here is the artist's signature. And so there's no logo in there outside of the text. And I'm going to try to scan. I don't kind of zoom in, but you can see this is sort of that you can't really make it out, but that's the URL that Stephanie is referring to. It's very minimal, very small. You can see like here I have Urban Green Lab, ABC Farmers Market, this sort of row. You don't have to do anything like that.
I also want to point out that there may be some restrictions about any logo or signage like that on a public property. So just want to make sure that everyone's aware. Yeah.
Yeah, and we would definitely, with the finalists, we would talk to you about like, okay, these logos don't include these or that sort of thing. Like we would definitely talk about that.